Welcome in to another edition of the Hang Time Podcast, the remote edition, the 68th All-Star Game, invading Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. John Schumann, myself, the rest of the cast of thousands will be on site to help us preview and predict all of the events going on. Let's get our guest in here right away, Shu, ESPN reporter and host Cassidy Hubbarth, joining the Hang Time Podcast. Cassidy, how are you? Congrats on the new deal.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy to be with you guys. Excited for All-Star Weekend for sure.
No question. We'll see you all over ESPN, including on your new Hoop Streams pregame show on Twitter, which Schumann is a tech guy. He's Mr. Twitter, so I'm sure he'll be locked in there and probably sending in pointers and giving you guys advice.
You don't know about this thing called Twitter?
No, I'm kind of the old fogey of the program. I'm the old get off my lawn guy. So I only get on Twitter when Schumann calls me out.
Okay. You don't strike me as, the old fogey, but, I'll go with it. If you say so.
He is definitely the oldest person on this podcast.
So, AJ, nothing but the number. Right?
Exactly. So, Cassie, All-Star Weekend is madness for everybody, always. Mm-hmm. You have some important duties, obviously, hosting the celebrity game on Friday night. What's the thing that you look forward to when you get to All-Star every year? What's the one thing you say, got to get this in while I'm on site at All-Star Weekend?
Oh, well, obviously the celebrity game is my biggest responsibility there. And it's always just crazy because it's not a typical game, But, seeing all the different celebrities together and just seeing what type of basketball we actually get, which is not always that high caliber. But, I just think it's such a great weekend because it's fun to have like the whole NBA family together, both broadcast and the players. And, it's just like we already feel like a family unit on NBA Twitter. Stacey, you know about it. We bring you in even though you're not on Twitter. And so like it's kind of funny because you have like NBA Twitter friends who you've probably never met in person, but then when you see them at All-Star, you're like, oh yes, I know everything about you and what's what you're up to and what you thought about the game last night. So I just think it's great to be able to be with all of our different personalities in the NBA, and then also for the celebrity game to see what type of collection of characters we get.
Yeah, the action tips off Friday night at 7 with the 2019 All-Star Celebrity Game presented by Ruffles. And my favorite part about it, I see that the league is testing out the 4-point line, also known as the Ridge. Maybe this is a precursor to what's going to happen in the league at some point in the future. But Quavo, I'm going into this since you're returning as host, and I do know a little something about what went down last year. I'm expecting Quavo to get numbers again this year. I'm hoping for a triple-double.
Yeah, I'm sure he is too. He was disappointed. He wanted to put up a 40 spot last year. So I think he may be gunning for that this year. He's on a team with Ray Allen. So I would, kind of expect him to dish it out a little bit more. So maybe Ray Allen can get him his assist numbers high, but we'll see. He's also on a team with Mark Lazary, the Bucks owner, who's done this game 3 years in a row. And every single time he touched the ball, he let it fly. He didn't really have a high shooting percentage. Yes. He's getting his money's worth out there for sure. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting game. My sleeper, I think, is Dr. Oz. I'm really trying to. I don't know. I just want to see how he plays.
Is there some intel on Dr. Oz? Like maybe he hooped for some private school like 50 years ago and he's got skills or something?
You never know. That's why I'm saying don't sleep on him because he may have something. He may have something in his hospital bag.
I hope so. I didn't know Dr. Oz was making house calls at All-Star. I love it.
I don't know.
I love it.
House calls still a thing. So yeah. That's that. Him or try to look at the JB Smoove, maybe him.
Do we know anybody here can hoop? Like other beyond Asia Wilson?
Well, that's why we sprinkle in some pros just to keep the game civilized. I don't know. I think a lot of people will be showing up to see Bad Bunny. I wonder if he'll have, that third eye painted on his head.
I don't know who Bad Bunny is, but
he's a Puerto Rican rapper who was on that big song with Cardi B.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was a real person. I'd heard the name and I was like, oh, that's a person. I was like,
I've heard of Marshmello. I know who Marshmello is for some reason.
Bad Bunny's a big deal currently in the music scene. You'll see a lot more of him.
I'll have to ask my kids about him. Right.
Yeah, you will. So yeah, no, it's a good list of characters. I think we also just got 2 Chainz added to the mix. So we'll see if he's wearing the odd chain during the game.
He can hoop. I've seen him play before. He can actually hoop.
So he's tall too.
Yeah, so I think he's about 6'5".
Probably playing that 5. Yeah, he'll play that 5 position.
He's no Jadakiss, Sekou. You.
Oh gosh.
I heard Jadakiss can ball.
Long story short, Cassidy, years ago during All-Star Weekend in Orlando, we were all playing, like the media runs, we get out and play. Jadakiss and I were locked into a one-on-one Magic Larry Bird battle, and Jadakiss hit the game winner and T-bowed, and these dudes will never let me.
Did he bust a ha-ha?
I don't remember. I was so humiliated. And
I need video or it's fake.
No, he could ball. He really could. And I saw him a couple of years ago. I was flying. This is another piece to the most humiliating moment of my post-high school athletic life. I was in the airport here in Atlanta on my way to Oakland for the finals. And Jadakiss and one of his boys are walking up the terminal. I mean, I literally see him 300 yards away. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, I hope he does not come up to me talking about that shot. He made a beeline for me in the sea of thousands of people and was like, yo, man, how you doing? You look different since Orlando. And I was like, oh, he remembers. Like, you got to be kidding me. It must have been the highlight.
I mean, if you hit a shot like that, would you forget it?
Some of us on this podcast are still playing. Sekou may have retired there on the spot.
Medical retirement. No, I had to medically retire. I tore my shoulder up in Miami trying to play pickup ball, and my chiropractor told me it's over. So I've moved on.
At least you got the doctor's order. Yes. I am a sadder situation. I miss playing so badly, but I was the type of player who really didn't have a lot of finesse. I was more of a hustle player, meaning I got a lot of elbows to the face, and I just dove on the floor. Like, I have no control. I just kind of just hustle. And so every time I played like intramurals or pickup, I'd come back with a bloody nose or an elbow to the face. And there was a day where I had a little bit of a black eye and I had to have makeup clear it up for me. So that was the day I was like, I probably can't do this anymore.
Dude, full-time TV now. You can't mess with the money maker.
Yeah. I know. I just wish I, probably was a little better at basketball so I could just hang out, by the 3-point line. But that's not how I play. It's not how I play.
No doubt. The celebrity game is, of course, followed by Mountain Dew Ice Rising Stars game at 9:00 on TNT. And that's, Cassidy, where we first get our chance to dig into the guys who are there this weekend to, really entertain the fans. Luka Doncic, who's been fantastic, Ben Simmons and Team World against Jason Tatum, Kyle Kuzma, and I call them Team America. I know they're Team United States, but I think Team America sounds better. This young crop of talent in the league, and you're all over the league. You covered it. This group seems like they got some special players. Like, we've got some of these guys who are going to bridge the gap between the generation of stars that are established and carrying the league now and what might be the future. Does Doncic, do Simmons, do these guys, Tatum and Kuzma, Donovan Mitchell, that group, do they feel like the future to you?
How could you not see them as the future? I mean, because they're garnering so much attention currently when we already have a huge crop of big name superstars, but you can't help but pay attention to what Luke is doing every single night. And, he's captivating, the NBA audience. And Simmons, look, he's letting some threes fly yesterday. If he can work on that, he doesn't even need to work on that game. He's an all-star this year and he doesn't, have a jump shot. So I think the class, 2017 is super special. And then you add, what Doncic is doing. I think really it's an open race for who is, going to be the biggest star out of what we see of the Team World and Team US. I mean, Doncic could have been an all-star. I mean, he got a lot of the fan votes.
Yeah.
And then, I think we're quickly forgetting just how good Donovan Mitchell is, because we're seeing so many other people rise to the occasion right now. He was the talk of everybody last year, and just because the Jazz aren't having a special season this year, I mean, he's still pretty damn good. And you're right. The NBA is in good hands for years to come.
Yeah, what's cool is that like a bunch of these guys are going to be on the playoff stage too, like playing for really good teams. When you talk about Mitchell and Tatum, and I assume, Kuzma and Lonzo Ball, the Lakers make it, but then also, OG Anunoby and Simmons, obviously. Simmons, I mean, Sixers could be, in the finals for all we know. So that's what.
You could argue he's the second best player on a team of, with all-star starting five.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
these two classes I think are really special, and Doncic and Simmons are probably the most special players of the two.
Interesting.
And we haven't even seen, to your point of these teams that are going to be in the playoffs and have a bigger spotlight. Like, we haven't even seen the ceiling for Ayton or Markkanen or Bagley even yet. Like, even though the Kings have had success, there's just not enough attention being paid to these teams that are, tanking, so to speak. So, I think people are paying attention to what De'Aaron Fox is doing, but not nearly as much as his play has been garnering.
Yeah. The action obviously cranks up on All-Star Saturday night, starting with the Taco Bell Skill Challenge. Mike Conley, Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, Nikola Jokic. I love when the big men get in there and steal the show. Kyle Kuzma, Tatum, Nick Vucevic, and Trae Young. Who you putting the money on for the Taco Bell Skills Challenge?
I don't know who I'm putting the money on, but I want Mike Conley to win, because it's just something in the All-Star weekend for him, because that man deserves to have some sort of All-Star credential.
That's a good point. Shu, who you got?
I'm going Luka. I'm all aboard, Luka mania. For
I think you're just sad because
I got him in the MVP. He's my MVP. He's going to be the MVP on Friday. He's going to win the Skills Challenge on Saturday.
Wow, and, nice.
Yeah.
All right. The Mountain Dew 3-point contest, where there's a loaded field. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there now. Devin Booker, Grand Rapids, Michigan's finest, is going to defend.
Surprise.
Repeat?
What are you talking about, Shu? Are you saying I'm biased?
A little bit, yeah, but
yes, I am. He's from Grand Rapids.
Do your thing.
Seth Curry and Steph Curry, the hometown boys, the brothers getting a chance to compete. Danny Green, Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Dirk, who's going to be a sentimental favorite, and Kemba Walker, the Hornets' own. That is a stacked. You can complain about some other stuff.
Is that more than usual, or is it always the same amount?
No, it's stacked. That's an unbelievable group too when you think about it.
Well, it's funny because it's like now the 3-point contest is the cool skills competition. Everyone wants to do a 3-point contest because it's the name of the game now, but no one wants to do the dunk contest. I don't know. I guess I want to see Seth Curry win.
Seth versus Steph at some point in this competition would be really cool. Definitely.
I talked with Seth guys the other day, by the way. I interviewed him about the contest after practice the other day. And I was asking him the obligatory, how heated were the contests between you and Steph. And it was interesting. He was talking about the fact that, and it stunned me how I never thought about it. I'm a younger brother too. So, I've always been kind of fighting that battle. But it was funny hearing him talk about having a brother who's better than you. And he said it in a way that makes you think, you know what? That is a hell of a thing to have to grow up. How'd you like to be Steph Curry's little brother playing in the NBA while Steph is off winning MVPs and championships, and you're just trying to make a name for yourself, just trying to put yourself on that platform. So it'd be awesome if he could win that contest.
And your dad was in the NBA.
Exactly.
So it's not even that big of a deal that you're in the NBA.
Yes.
It's like Dad and my brother did it was in the NBA.
Yes.
It's a huge deal, but it's just the dynamic is different.
He said moms will be rooting for him Saturday night. So he does have that on his side.
And he was named pretty much like the same name as Steph. It's like as I'm saying this, because that must have been really hard in their house early on. Like I was just pretending like you were talking to my brother the whole time, because Seth and Steph, I'm trying to think of other names that sound so close to each other.
It's tough. I mean, what the hell? I mean, it's just a real, like I said, I was talking to him thinking to myself, that's crazy to be in that shadow, but then to be as accomplished as he is. We're not talking about delivering newspapers. I mean, we're talking about the 450, best basketball players on earth, and he's in that league. So,
and arguably the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a discussion of all time, it's different than like, it's not like the Holiday brothers, where of course, there's degrees of who's better, but it's not like Steph is one of the greatest players in the NBA and Steph is, maybe a journeyman.
Yeah, right. But he owes Stephen like something, right? Like, because does Seth Curry get a scholarship to Duke if Stephen Curry hadn't already like gone through college and
I don't know.
Did what he did at Davidson, having, I hate to say it, but having not gotten a scholarship at a major school?
He didn't even get an offer from,
I don't know. It's hard to answer.
Alma mater.
Yeah.
Hard to answer that.
I mean, but they don't, Coach K's not handing out gifts.
Something, influence and exposure is part of the recruitment game today, regardless. But you're right. I mean, there's definitely got to be some sort of impact of the Curry name on Seth's recruiting.
Couldn't have hurt.
But that's college,
Yeah.
It's a grown man game in the NBA. You got to make it.
But give credit to him, like it being in the shadow, but still doing his own thing and actually working himself through a major injury last year and still going. Like someone without the toughness that he has would be out of the league right now, probably.
True. Well, look, it's settled in. We're all pulling for Seth Curry.
We're all rooting for Seth.
Seth is our pick.
Let's go.
Seth is our pick. Finally, the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest on Saturday night, and this is where it gets tricky. Miles Bridges is going to have the house on his side, no question.
Yes.
But Dennis Smith is from North Carolina. He's a North Carolina native, so he'll also have some of that sentiment, I would imagine. John Collins played at Wake Forest, so he's got a connection. So therefore, Hamidou Diallo of the Thunder is the last guy in that contest. He's the outsider. He's the guy that's got to come in there and shake it up and keep it from being some hometown affair.
After watching Terrence Ferguson dunk a couple of times, I'm wondering if we picked the wrong Thunder player.
Yeah, I know.
I got Miles Bridges. That's it.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I do too.
Really?
I because he can jump out of the gym. I mean, I think maybe people are trying to pick somebody other than Dennis Smith Jr. because he's the only returning. And, we saw it last year and we were just, not that impressed. I guess it was an underwhelming dunk contest last year. But I wouldn't sleep on John Collins either. But we haven't had a big guy like that win in a long time. But I think he can. I think he may have something special.
I'm holding out hope. My fingers are crossed for a big. I want the dunk contest to have some life breathed into it, and you need epic content. We need what Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon gave us. You need just.
Honestly, though, it's such a hard standard to live up to. Yeah. I mean, I have never been to a more exciting sporting event than that dunk contest in Toronto.
Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, I've been to a lot of live sporting events. And I will never forget that moment of watching those two just like outdo each other.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. So I think everyone's still holding on to that feeling. It was just like a high bar. We were talking about that being the best dunk contest of all time. Now, granted, we all live in the "what have you done for me lately," and we forget about the past in the '90s. But it's hard because it's close enough to us, in recent time that we know what a good dunk contest feels like, but it's hard to live up to that. Zach LaVine, I was hoping he would be part of it again. I don't even care. Be part of it every year. No one bounces like he does.
Yeah, and it is a really difficult standard to live up to, guys. We've got such a catalog of unbelievable performances on that stage. What are you going to do? Someone's going to have to parachute in an open air stadium at some point and make a dunk to really, shock us.
I know, it's all been done. That's why people are bringing in drones and stuff. It's all been done. What can you do? So that's why I say Zach LaVine, because you've never seen someone bounce the way he has. It has to be about the athleticism of the player, and not to me, not like the gadgets and the tricks they can bring in.
I do think Miles Bridges has one thing on his side that could really turn it in his favor. He's going to have MJ in the house. And if he plays it right and he gets far enough, you pull out a vintage MJ dunk or the jersey or the shoe, something he's going to be able to pull out at some point and maybe curry the kind of favor you need, with that crowd to win that thing. I think I'm picking Miles Bridges as well in the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest because I think he'll have that edge, if nothing else.
Well, Jordan better show up. Like this being in Charlotte, he better be everywhere.
Yes.
I want to see Jordan at every event wearing I don't even care. I feel like he needs to, really, really show up for the Hornets.
He needs to be the host with the most for sure in Charlotte this weekend.
Get him in the celebrity game. Pull some strings.
Exactly.
Look, I'm saying. It could be a late ad. That happens. Have some late scratches. See, Jordan should be a part of the celebrity game this year. And then next year in Chicago, Obama better be,
no question.
That's all I'm saying.
No question
That's all
about
I'm saying.
And you just reminded me about Chicago next year, which will be another interesting place to have it, probably because of the temperatures, as well as who could be roped into participating in All-Star Weekend. Sunday night is the big game, Team Giannis versus Team LeBron. I was able to watch the player draft early on Thursday morning when they did it and had to keep it under wraps all day, which was one of the most difficult things I've ever done. It's not texting somebody and say, man, you won't believe who's on which team. Do you guys like?
No, I won't tell you any of my secrets then.
Exactly. Do you guys like that part of the process now for All-Star, which I think has really given the weekend a boost, having that element in it? And what did you think of the teams? Did you think these guys nailed it or did they miss on picking these teams?
Well, I loved the draft. I thought it lived up to the hype. I thought the line where Giannis, called out LeBron for tampering, that's just gold. I mean, that's exactly what we wanted to see. As far as the teams, everyone's hating on Giannis. Even who was they to say he's not from here? KD, he's not from here. He'll learn how to. I'm like, dang, KD, it's fine. I actually appreciated Giannis's picking style. I talked to him before the Wizards game on Wednesday last week about his strategy, and he says, I'm looking for the guys who haven't been to All-Star Weekend that much because I want guys who actually want to play and play hard. And this is not just their 7th or 8th time playing at the All-Star game. So, I mean, clearly that was his motivation because that's why he went with Jokic and Middleton and Middleton's teammate and Vucevic. So granted, LeBron's team is pretty stacked and pretty scary, but it seems to have, I would say, the bigger superstar names, but I wouldn't say it's going to be a blowout.
No. I mean, LeBron's got the free agent 2019 All-Stars basically. He has
that in alone was
very
drama
strategic.
and fun.
Yes. Very strategic.
I think we took a step forward with the last year, and it was competitive. It was definitely a lot more competitive than it was the year before. The year before was, a disaster, to be honest.
Why we made the changes?
Right.
Why the NBA made the changes?
And then another step forward this year with televising the draft.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I think the next step is doing it on Friday or Saturday night live right there on the court. I think that's got to. Hopefully, that's coming in the next year or two because that will.
So you okay?
With
you really
everybody there, everybody there, yeah,
on site, yes,
on site. Everybody's there to see.
That would be good TV.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And,
but I wouldn't be mad if it were if it were another year of this format of them just picking like this.
Yeah, I mean that's a big step to take to push it to Friday or Saturday night because of the the marketing aspect of it, but I think that would be the ultimate sort of way to do it.
I mean, this is at least our last year of LeBron doing it. I mean, I think he's already made it clear he's done with the picking. So I'm going to be curious to see who.
Well, he doesn't have a choice. It's the fans and media who choose if he's the captain because it's whoever got the most votes.
He already engineered something that wasn't supposed to be. He already pulled off a trade this year. I'm figuring he'll find a way out of it if he's LeBron. He gets what he snaps his fingers and gets what he wants.
Well,
Touché.
not all the time,
Touché.
apparently.
Well, sometime, most of the time.
Oh, right. Well done by you. Well done by
Exactly.
you.
Listen, Cassidy, we appreciate you coming on and joining us to preview All-Star Weekend. It's going to be fantastic, as always. It's going to be hectic. I know that. You're going to be all over the place. Friday night.
It'll be fun.
Celebrity Game will be outstanding. And all your coverage, all season long on, NBA and college football. Don't forget, Schumann and I are big college football guys. I'm a Michigan guy. He's a Virginia Tech guy. So we're always plugged in and watching that as well. And we appreciate your hard work. Congratulations again on the new deal. And we'll see you somewhere around town, hopefully this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you. I'm going to hit you up on Twitter, okay?
Appreciate that. I might have to get active. Thanks, Cassidy.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. So, Shu, we got All-Star Weekend, but that doesn't mean the train stops on Perfect Player on NBA TV. That's still a part of what's going on this season for NBA TV. And before we get out of here, let's dive in this week on our newest category, and that's Best Defender between Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, and Kawhi Leonard, all guys who have won that individual hardware. You can cast your vote on NBA TV's Twitter account until noon Eastern on Fridays. And, Shu, who do you pick amongst those three guys? Three very accomplished defenders.
It's tough because I think there's a distinction to be made between the best defender and the most impactful defender. So, like, a perimeter player could be a better defender than a center, but a center can be a more impactful defender in that he's protecting the basket, which is priority number one. As much as the league is shooting threes, layups and dunks are still more valuable than three-pointers right now. So a guy like Gobert who protects the rim and keeps not only defends shots at the rim, but also prevents them can be a more impactful defender. And it's a distinction you have to sort of weigh when you vote for Defensive Player of the Year as well. So I think of the three, I think the best defender is Kawhi Leonard, just because of the defensive skill set that he has with his hands and reaction timing and, just his ability to take a perimeter player out of the game. The problem is, like, he can do that and maybe not make as much of an impact as the other two guys because they play on the inside. And Draymond Green is sort of the perfect, balance between the two. Yeah. A guy who does protect the rim, even though he's not that big, but also can defend on the perimeter. So when he's at his best, I would lean towards him, but I just don't think right now he's at his best, as we speak. So I'll lean towards Kawhi Leonard, though saying again that Gobert can be the most impactful guy just because of his position and his size. Sure, that's a great point. I tend to think, too, about the performances these guys have had on big stages. Draymond being able to show off how great a defender he is in the finals. Kawhi, a finals MVP, basically for the two-way work he did against the Heat, but also largely, due to the fact that he stymied LeBron James in a finals. I think helped, really bolster his reputation as a defender. Gobert hasn't had his magic moment yet. So, hopefully at some point he'll get a chance to. He's a monster. I mean, he is, because he's such a good game-changing, rim-protecting, shot-altering big man in an era when those guys don't get the shine the way they used to. I think a lot of people maybe haven't seen just how good Rudy Gobert is and seen the best of him as of yet. But Perfect Player on NBA TV. 2 weeks ago, Steph Curry took home the best jump shot. Last week, LeBron won for his beautiful mind that he likes to brag about, the best basketball IQ. LeBron also won for most athletic. Kyrie Irving has the best handles, and we have 4 more categories to go shoot, including best defender. You can vote until Fridays at noon on NBA TV's Twitter account. Make sure you check it out. Perfect Player on NBA TV. Before we leave, please check out Jordan Week on NBA.com. It's been going on all week. Special videos, features, and more. Coordinated by our own Lamont Calloway at NBA.com. You will not want to miss all of the fantastic stuff. And there's a lot to digest. Michael Jordan, his home state, back on Tobacco Road, Tar Heel Blue, all the good stuff. Wilmington, North Carolina, his hometown. We've got it all covered for you on Jordan Week on NBA.com. All week long. Take a good look at it. Shoot, we get a little break. We'll be back after All-Star Weekend. Definitely a little breather, though, for everybody involved. Be sure to follow all the action on NBA.com and NBA TV. Make sure you subscribe to Hang Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new episodes all season long. Make sure and leave a review. Shout out to Cassidy Hubbarth of ESPN, our special guest, helping us preview All-Star Weekend. Sekou Smith and John Schumann, John Hartzell, our producer. We will see you right here
next time on the Hang Time Podcast.